Everybody was asking backstage, how do you feel? I said, you know, you can't plan feelings, I don't know. But I have to tell you right now, I'm very overwhelmed.
Have you ever wondered what really happened behind the scenes of one of America's most beloved sitcoms? While millions of viewers tuned in weekly to laugh at the misadventures of Jack, Janet, and Chrissy, a real-life drama was unfolding behind the cameras, one that would abruptly remove a rising star from television screens across America. The sudden disappearance of Suzanne Somers from Three's Company shocked fans and changed television history forever. But the story you've heard about why she left? It's not the whole truth. From overnight sensation to persona non grata, from America's sweetheart to Hollywood outcast, this is the real story of why Suzanne Somers was fired from Three's Company. And trust us, it's not what you think. The rise of a television icon. When Three's Company premiered in 1977, no one could have predicted the cultural phenomenon it would become. The show quickly became a ratings powerhouse for ABC, drawing millions of viewers each week. At the center of this success was the undeniable chemistry between the three leads: John Ritter as the clumsy but charming Jack Tripper, Joyce DeWitt as the sensible Janet Wood, and Suzanne Somers as the bubbly, naive Chrissy Snow. While all three actors brought something special to the show, it was Somers who quickly emerged as the breakout star. Chrissy Snow was the show's sparkle and, let's be honest, a big part of its male viewership, wrote one television critic at the time. With her blonde locks, infectious laugh, and impeccable comic timing, Somers became a cultural icon almost overnight. Posters of her in her signature short shorts flew off shelves, and her face graced magazine covers across the country. When the show began, all three leads were relatively unknown actors making modest salaries, reportedly around $3,500 per episode. This was decent money for television actors in the mid-1970s, but nothing compared to what established stars were making. By the beginning of the fifth season in 1980, John Ritter, considered the show's lead, was reportedly earning around $50,000 per episode. Somers and DeWitt, despite their contributions to the show's success, were making significantly less, approximately $30,000 per episode. This disparity would soon become the flashpoint for one of television's most notorious contract disputes. The battle for equality begins. As Three's Company entered its fifth season in 1980, it was at the peak of its popularity. Encouraged by her husband and manager, Alan Hamel, Somers decided it was time to demand what she believed she deserved: pay equal to her male co-star. She asked for a raise from $30,000 to $150,000 per episode, a figure comparable to what male television stars like Alan Alda of MASH and Carol O'Connor of All in the Family were earning. She also requested 10% of the show's profits. "I was the most popular woman on television, and I was earning less than the cameraman," Somers would later recall in interviews. "I wanted to be paid for my value, and I wanted to be paid like the men were paid. I asked for parity with John Ritter." Her husband, Alan Hamel, emphasized, "It wasn't just about the money. It was about respect." Suzanne was a huge star, and the deal didn't reflect that. The producers, including Ted Bergman and Don L. Taffner, along with ABC executives led by Fred Silverman, were furious. They viewed Somers' demands as excessive and feared that giving in would set a precedent for other stars. "She overplayed her hand," an anonymous insider reportedly said at the time. The producers felt she was holding them hostage, and they believed no one was irreplaceable. The negotiations quickly reached an impasse. The producers refused to meet Somers' full demands, though they reportedly made a counteroffer that was substantially lower. Somers and Hamel stood firm, creating a toxic atmosphere that would soon spill over onto the set. The icy exile and phone booth purgatory. As the contract dispute intensified, the working relationship between Somers and the producers deteriorated completely. The producers accused Somers of breaching her contract by missing rehearsals and being difficult on set during the negotiations. What happened next was one of the strangest episodes in television history. Since Somers was still under contract for the fifth season, but the relationship had soured beyond repair, the producers came up with a bizarre solution. Chrissy's role was drastically reduced. She would appear for only about 60 seconds at the end of each episode, usually in a separate scene where she supposedly called home from her sick mother's house to check in with Jack and Janet. These scenes were filmed separately, without any interaction with Ritter and DeWitt. The once vibrant character was reduced to a disembodied voice on the telephone, creating awkward, forced scenes that viewers immediately noticed. The chemistry was gone. The lightness vanished. John Ritter and Joyce DeWitt were caught in an impossible position. Reports suggest they felt abandoned by Somers and sided with the producers. The once tight-knit cast was fractured. It was a difficult time, Ritter said in later interviews. I think she got bad advice. He added, I think it made her sad, and it made me sad that she was sad. Joyce DeWitt, reflecting years later, indicated she viewed it as a business decision by Somers that had damaged the family they had created on set. The final cut and the missing millions. After the disastrous fifth season, there was no path to reconciliation. Suzanne Somers' contract was not renewed, and Chrissy Snow disappeared from Three's Company for good. The show continued with two replacements for the third roommate, first Janelle Harrison as Chrissy's cousin Cindy Snow, and later Priscilla Barnes as Nurse Terry Alden. While the show ran for 3 more seasons and maintained respectable ratings, many fans felt the magic of the original trio was gone. For Suzanne Somers, it was a bitter pill to swallow. In the public eye, she was often labeled as greedy or difficult, a characterization that haunted her for years. However, she fought her way back into the entertainment world. She found success in Las Vegas, became the face of Thighmaster, authored numerous best-selling books on health and wellness, and eventually returned to television with shows like Step by Step. I was so hurt, Somers later said about her firing. In my opinion, I was the biggest star on television, and they fired me. It was humiliating. But she also reflected, getting fired forced me to figure out who I really was and what I could do. Perhaps the most significant financial consequence of her departure was the loss of syndication income. By leaving the show, Somers almost certainly missed out on millions in syndication royalties that John Ritter and Joyce DeWitt received when Three's Company became a massive success in reruns. The show was sold worldwide and has been rerun countless times. Reconciliation and legacy. The rift with John Ritter and Joyce DeWitt was painful and lasted for many years. However, shortly before John Ritter's sudden and tragic death in 2003, Suzanne Somers reached out to him by phone. It was their first conversation in years. He said, "I'm so sorry, Susie. I should have supported you." And I said, "I'm sorry too, John. I should have handled it differently," Somers recalled of their conversation. "We made peace. I'm so grateful we had that talk." Ironically, Ritter was on the set of his sitcom 8 Simple Rules when he became ill. He died on September 11, 2003 at age 54 from an undiagnosed aortic dissection. The relationship with Joyce DeWitt remained cool for longer. It wasn't until 2012, more than 30 years after the conflict, that the two women reunited for an emotional interview on Somers' talk show. "It's time. It's just time," DeWitt said tearfully during the reunion as they embraced, a moment of public reconciliation that touched fans. Suzanne Somers bravely fought breast cancer for many years. She passed away on October 15, 2023, one day before her 77th birthday, after living with the diagnosis for more than 23 years. The drama surrounding Three's Company and Suzanne Somers is a classic Hollywood story about the intoxication of sudden success, the harsh reality of the entertainment business, and the painful consequences of unresolved conflicts. In many ways, Suzanne Somers was ahead of her time, fighting for equal pay decades before it became a mainstream cause in Hollywood. While her approach may have cost her dearly, she paved the way for future actresses to demand their worth. That may be her most enduring legacy from the Three's Company saga, a lesson in standing up for yourself, even when it comes at a tremendous personal cost.